What's up, guys? This morning I full ported a couple of evals to get max allocation on alpha futures, and it made me reminisce back to the time when I used to spend months trading my evals just to get funded. So I feel like this was a really important lesson that I learned, and I kind of wanted to share that with you guys. And then I'll also give you a trade recap for the trade that we took to pass the evals, and I filmed it on my phone when it hit this time, so I'll be able to put that on the screen for you whenever I get to the trade recap portion. So we'll get there, but like I said, I want to start off with a little bit of a lesson. So I don't want to yap too much. I'm going to try and just make this quick, concise, but I feel like it's important, so I wanted to share this with you guys. So for some perspective, like I said, when I first started trading with prop firms, I remember my first eval that I passed took me 3 months. Now I'm going to be honest, when you have like no lick of profitability inside of you, bro, when you're first starting, if you don't think you're like really at that point you're making money, you just want to familiarize yourself with actually risking real money, please trade your eval slow. It's okay. You know, I'm willing to put the $50 on the table. When I really wanted to learn how to like trade, I was willing to put $50 knowing that I probably wasn't going to make any money on it, but I was just willing to because I wanted to learn what it's like to actually risk like real money, even though it's a prop firm, to like risk something more than just paper trading. I was ready for that. Now, please do that when you're first starting. But once you get to that point where you're either profitable or if you're close to profitability, like you might not be long-term profitable, but you're able to earn maybe 1 or 2 or even 3 or 4 payouts, whatever it may be, right? You need to start full porting your evals, bro. Now, the problem with the word full port, it has like such a bad connotation behind it. When it comes to like funded accounts and live accounts, like actual like real money, right? You don't want to be full porting because you don't really have an edge. You're just kind of gambling. It kind of defeats the purpose. But when you're on these evals, I genuinely full port them, bro. I don't remember the last time I actually took an eval serious. Sometimes I might try and come up with a little bit of an edge, but I'm talking like risk management wise, there is zero risk management being used. I am putting max size or close to max size on every single trade, whatever makes the most sense for the trade that I'm taking, because I want to pass them as quickly as possible. So to kind of break it down for you, when you look at the numbers, it becomes pretty obvious as to what is the right thing to do. So let's say that you know with a lot of confidence, like there's a high likelihood that you're actually going to take a payout, right? The way that I trade a trade continuation, I have a pretty high win rate. So if I'm on a funded account and I'm using good risk management, like once I'm actually funded, it's likely that I will take a payout, right? So let's say that you know you're probably going to take a payout. Which case would you rather be in? Let's say we have 2 traders. So first, trader number 1, we're going to use the Alpha Futures Zero account for this video. It's around $100. So we'll just use that for our numbers. So let's say trader number 1, right? They spend $100 on a funded account and it takes them the entire month to pass it. So at the end of the month, right, what do they have to show for themselves? They have a funded account, what's like a 50K zero account, right? And then they're down $100. Now, our second trader, trader number 2, full ports his funded accounts every day because he's profitable, but he doesn't care. He just wants to get funded. So boom, Monday, first day of the month, full ports fail. Second day, full port fail. Third day, full port finally pass. So now we have trader number 2. He's only 3 days in of the month, right? But he has a funded account to show for it and he's down $300. So when you look at it, obviously you'd rather only be down $100 than $300, but you have to think about when you're near profitability or profitable, you have such a high value skill that time is going to be the most important thing for you. So in this case, the second trader is going to be able to take maybe 1, 2, even up to 3 payouts. If you're aggressive like that, you might take even 3 payouts before the other trader takes their first payout in the month, right? Because they spent the entire month on the eval. Second trader here has already made thousands and thousands, maybe even 5 figures in that month just because they were really aggressive, right? So the point of this is to show you that when you look at the numbers, bro, if you are profitable and you know you make money, stop taking your time. Stop taking so much time to pass these evals. It's really not worth sitting on these evals, bro. I genuinely used to get angry because I would trade them so slow. I would sit there and be trading micros on my evals. And now when I see people trading micros on evals, it like makes me mad for them because, bro, you need to trade high size on your evals. Get done with them as quick as possible, because if you can make money every single day that you're spending on an eval, you're just wasting your time. Because if you know you're going to be profitable, why would you want to be on eval when you can be funded? Don't worry about losing, right? Because you just losing in the short term on an eval does not mean you're losing in the long term. Losing a funded account literally means nothing to me. I take them so unseriously. Like I said, bro, all I want to do is get through that eval so that I can get to the funded stage, and then I can start using good risk management, like following all my rules and trying to pass. So basically, the point of this is to show you that if you don't want to limit your potential, once you get close to that profitability point, stop worrying so much, stop getting so married to the $100 that you spent on an eval, and start thinking about the long term. Start thinking about the actual money that you can make if you stopped worrying so much about that $100 and instead you actually just focused on getting onto that funded account and then trying to make some real money. Basically, the main takeaway that I want you to have from that is just that your time is of the essence. You work so hard to create this really good skill for yourself, so don't waste your time. It's not worth it for you. So I'm going to slap the glasses on because I do want to give you a quick trade recap for the trade that we took this morning. Like I said, even though I'm not like totally following my rules, I had a bit of an edge today. It's still not a bad trade. I mean, I saw some people take this trade, so I feel like it's pretty decent. So basically, I marked out a couple of lows from this morning, and the idea was we ended up forming a fair value gap here. So I just marked out the top, but basically this was the fair value gap. Because this was like the closest higher time frame gap / like draw, whatever, I kind of wanted to just see how we reacted off this draw. I assumed that either we would tap into it and then start pushing higher, or we would just inverse the gap and then come down to this low or maybe this low. It just depends what reaction we got. Obviously, the bar replay kind of spoils it. We did end up rejecting going higher. So in terms of a target for higher like sentiment, so here's the thing. I normally wouldn't mark this out because this fair value gap's already been tapped into, but like this next fair value gap here wasn't my favorite because like we'd have to push through this one first and then you would be like really close to the second one. And I kind of just grouped this as like one big gap here. So like, honestly, I just marked out the bottom of this first gap, even though maybe I normally wouldn't. This just made sense for today. Or I think on ES, this was a high, like this candle formed green on ES, like a similar high. So you could have marked this out, but basically it didn't really matter. It just meant that like if we were to target higher, this would kind of be like the liquidity point where I'd start to either stop looking for highs or see if we continue past this high. So that's kind of what I wanted to see, but I will come down a little bit here. This is far ahead, but basically the idea was if we tap into this gap, start rejecting, I'm going to look for longs. So we ended up coming into this gap here. We got a small rejection, but I kind of just wanted to see some more confirmation. When you're full porting, sometimes you have to have kind of a tight stop. So I want to have like a semi-decent entry, and this wasn't it yet. I wanted to see a little bit more out of this. But once we tapped back into this and just like started flipping to the upside, at this point, I decided like 5 minute looks good, right? We're tapping into these gaps down here. If you look at the 15 minute, we tapped into this 15-minute gap. If you look at the hourly, again, we're tapping this gap nicely, starting to flip. The only thing is we are, or at least at this point, we were kind of in this 4 hour, but we were starting to get through it. Like the bullish idea started coming alive. I like this closure. Remember, displacement tells you so much about the market. When we're displacing in one direction, that's the direction you want to be going in. So in this case, we started displacing. I ended up getting a good fill on this, bro. Like I think I got filled like in here somewhere, and then stop loss was about 25 points, right? When you're on, like I said, full porting with a lot of size, I can't really have a huge stop loss. So that was that. And then I had 2 contracts on for this, so I had to target about 75-ish points to pass in one trade. So that was the TP. Like I said, semi-arbitrary, but when you're trading prop firms, you kind of have to adjust. So this was the TP, and this thing just started ripping to the upside. If you took any longs today, you were probably enjoying yourself because there wasn't even like any stress in here. We were just going straight up. So that was the trade. Pretty easy idea here. Just like I thought we wanted to come higher. I mean, I understand if you didn't take this because this was like not the greatest price action in here, but this displacement kind of showed me what I wanted to see. So solid little trade there, passed a couple of evals. So hopefully you're able to learn something from this video. Like I said, main takeaway is just please value your time as a trader. It's so important to value your time. Stop risking like 1 or 2 micros on your funded accounts. If you're profitable, you have no reason doing that. If you're even near profitability, it's not worth your time. So if you did learn something from this video, please show some support. I really appreciate it, guys. And if you have any questions, comment them below. I always like to help you guys out, and I hope to see you in the next video.